I think from as young as I can remember, I just loved being outside with my grandfather, my dad, the dog, my grandfather's dog. And I was quite an active person in general, and I just remembered like kicking a ball at home, and then it sparked from a school trip that one of the parent helpers saw me playing football and asked me to come to the local boys team training that night. And of course I went home and begged my dad, because I tried gymnastics before that and to no avail, let's just say. But yeah, rest is history, I guess. I think the scene at the time was there was no real opportunities, and I think to play at an elite level, and if you wanted to really make it and take your game to the next level, you had to play in boys football. And do you know what? Those were honestly the best years of my life. Like, playing with the boys, they always had your back. Like, if one of the other boys in another team tackled you, they would be right in there, like protecting you like one of their own. So I really enjoyed it. It really grew my physicality. I think that's sort of a really mainstay of my sort of game. And I think undoubtedly it's from playing boys football as long as I could. I mean, come on, like whenever anybody's playing an opponent and there's a girl in the team, nobody wants to get embarrassed by the girl, and even the parents are shouting like, smash her, like you can hear the parents shouting at their boys to smash me, because they don't want their little boys to be embarrassed, which is quite a sad state of affairs, but that's sort of the reality. So I knew that I had to stick up for myself. I knew that I had to hold my own, and I was more than happy to, with the backing of obviously my team as well. But I certainly was the target, I would say, in the team. You're the odd one out, you're the one that sticks out. I was the only girl in the team, so everybody wants to go for you. I've got a couple of people that come to mind, like first and foremost, like my own family, like my mum, my dad, like always told me to do what I wanted to do. My dad played Northern Ireland, like I think boys schoolboy level, so he never quite made it, so maybe he's sort of living his dream through me a little bit, which I think is something quite special. My grandfather was out with me all nights, every night until it got dark. He just loved playing football with me in the garden, and he'd be doing my maths times table as I'm doing volleys back to him. That's just the memory that I remember, because he just loved education as well, and that was a big part. It's really shaped me a lot, and I think there was a time where boys football, I was transitioning from 7 to 11 aside, and the team basically said, you don't have a future here. You can't play 11 aside football, you're not physical enough, you're too small. So that was for me quite upsetting, and I was a girl and I was different, and I was at threat. That's when I had to look for a new club, and I found a team, Cross House Boys Club, who had a manager that really believed in me, felt he could take me with open arms. I really felt welcomed, and then we went on to win the league. But yeah, that was the sort of first time that I've really faced rejection of such, and you know, it was nothing to do with my technical ability or anything like that, and I truly believe it was just because I was a girl and they think I wasn't strong enough or fast enough to compete with the boys at 11-a-side level. Honestly, it was like everything was moving so fast. Had to quit university. I was training with the national team every morning. Had to give that up. I was working in Morrison's. Had to give that up, of course. Had to send my P45 into Morrison's to get a job with Chelsea, which was a bit mad. But it all happened so fast. I think the transition, the tempo was higher, the speed of play was higher. Like, I felt myself getting lost in the first few months, to be honest, because playing in Scotland and playing at a high level, it prepares you, but it doesn't prepare you for how big the jump actually was. And I think everybody thinks my journey was plain sailing, but there was times during the first few months I thought, I'm not meant to be here. I've got imposter syndrome. I'm a fish out of water. So it took a lot of buckling down and just getting to work and just slowly getting to grips with it, learning to move the ball quicker, to get fitter, get faster, because you're not going to survive otherwise.
Carpenter did really well. That is a great little touch. She knew where Guru Wrighton was, and she had to take it with the right foot, and what a finish that is. With a less strong foot, it was all set up for that little curl around the corner. What a finish.
I had a couple of choices about where I wanted to go, and Emma made it abundantly clear that she was the right person to develop me and help me grow and, you know, realise my potential. But I think Emma kind of took me under her wing. She understood that it's a big move, moving away from friends, from family, giving up my university at the time. Like, it's a lot, and it's a big culture change, like small town in Scotland to big city London life. Like, it's very different. So she allowed me space to grow, but at the same time was very diligent with checking in and making sure I was okay, like not just on the pitch, because she knew that at times I was struggling. She could see it, but by giving more analysis sessions, but also off the pitch, checking in. She would make sure that everything was okay. You okay with your home life? Is everything settled? So I think her giving me that trust and the belief in me on the pitch sort of transcribed into me growing and coming more out of my shell, because the first few months I was quite a quiet little girl.
Ekin can't hold on to it. Kerr feeds it through to Cuthbert. She's got Wrighton to her left. Plays it into Wrighton. Guru Wrighton! Back across goal! Off the bar! And on the follow-up, Ekin clear it!
Honestly, I feel immensely proud, even to still be here 8.5 years on, almost 9, is incredible for me. It's more than I ever imagined. But I think at the time I came in at a really, really good time where there was some real gritty players, Claire Rafferty, Karen Carney, Katie Chapman. So many of those players helped shape my career and make me the player that I am. Like, they took me under their wing. They never gave me anything easy. They gave me some tough love, as Emma Hayes also did. But they were perfect in my transition. So I've got a lot of players, I think, in that phase that maybe go under the radar and go unnoticed for the journey that we've been on, that I think I have to thank. Everybody only sees 1 game a week or 2 games a week when we play multiple games, and nobody sees the real grit and effort and training every day, getting up out of bed when you maybe don't feel like it is pretty tough. But don't get me wrong, it's the greatest job in the world, but it can really sort of weigh a burden on you a little bit, especially maybe if your performances aren't where they should be. You're maybe not having the confidence to express yourself in training. I think every little task gets a lot harder, and there's periods throughout Emma's tenure that I went through phases of not playing. I've been on the bench, and I had to accept that as a football player, that there was other people in front of me, and you know, I didn't always agree with the decisions that Emma made, but I respected them and I put my head down. I worked hard, and I think for me that's the only way you survive at a club like Chelsea, because there is always players that's going to try and replace you. There's always players that they're going to bring in to keep taking the club to the next level, and if you don't rise with that, you get left behind. So I'm immensely proud that I'm still here after so many years, but I also want more.
Cuthbert, nice turn, good shot! Not far away.
But she's getting a little bit forward, and look how dangerous she can be.
I think there's a couple. I think on a personal level, I think away to Barcelona in April really gave me a feeling of adrenaline that I don't think I've had in so many years. Maybe Scotland qualifying for the World Cup, that it's just such a feeling that if you could bottle it up and keep it for the rest of your life, then I think I would honestly live a happy life forever. But what an incredible feeling that was in that moment, and you know, to have all the Chelsea fans are way up in the stands, high, and to see them celebrate, I think was a special moment on a personal level, knowing that I had a big contribution in that. And I think as a team, I think during COVID, when we qualified for the Champions League final, the semi-final at Kings Meadow against Bayern Munich, certainly to me felt like a point where we were overcoming obstacles. We weren't falling at the last hurdle at that point, and we really found a way to dig deep. And I think that's what Emma's Chelsea has been all about over all these years, the time I've been at the club, the winning mentality, the grit to never give up, like it's not over till we say it's over kind of thing. So I think that epitomised everything about a Chelsea performance. So I think as a team, I think I'm probably most proud of that game.
Moritz, Cuthbert. for Nuskin. Back for Erin Cuthbert. It's Cuthbert! Sensational Chelsea goal!
I was disappointed that I wasn't involved more in the game. I think Emma knows that. Like, I was disappointed that I didn't have a big role to play. But at that time during that season, I was in and out of the team, had some sort of personal issues during that season as well. But I think that was the turning point for us. You know, and that game hurt real bad, and to know that I couldn't even do anything about it until obviously I came on and 10 minutes to go, I can't remember. I couldn't really change the outcome of the game, and I think that really hurt because I'm always a player who just likes to go out and change it. If I make a mistake, I like to make up for my mistakes. If I've not made a mistake, I like to go make something happen. So I think for a team, that hurt a lot of us, and I think we knew that the level needed to improve amongst the group. We needed to get better. What we done domestically, we maybe can't do in the Champions League because the overall quality is higher. And I think Barcelona outran us in the day, and maybe that's the best thing we needed at that time. I don't think we were at the level to win the Champions League at that point, but I certainly think we're in a much better place, and I think it is a good turning point, and it's a good reminder that we're not where we need to be, but we're on the right track.
That is it. It's Barcelona again in the Champions League final.
When I first joined, it was all about surviving, finding my feet, being led by the other players in the midfield, listening to their knowledge and what they had to bring. And I was a sponge when I was younger. I just wanted to hear all the information. I wanted to listen to all the knowledge that everybody was giving me because they knew best. But I think now my role's kind of changed in the sense that I'm the person that everybody wants to be a sponge off of, especially I think with the young midfielders that we have, which is quite weird to say, that I'm one of the more experienced and older players in the midfield. But I think everybody's listening to me, so I think I know that I need to be absolutely correct and concise in what I'm saying. I'm very straight to the point, I'm very direct, I demand high standards, but also I'm gonna, I tell people when things are good, because I think there's nothing better than being told you've done a great pass and the confidence that it can give you, especially a young player, to just go and express yourself. They also told me when I wasn't at the level, and they also told me when things weren't good enough or they demanded something else. So I think that is the one thing that I would take away from what they've gave me, is give tough love, tell people when things are great, but equally when it drops below standard, I think you need to expect and demand more from others, because that is the only way you grow, that is the only way you go to the next level. And I think if Chelsea want to get to the next level, we need everybody doing that in everybody's own position all around the pitch.
Ball in from the right-hand side, and it goes all the way in! Well, what a wonderful goal that is to give Chelsea their second of the game. Erin Cuthbert with a ball in from the right-hand side.
I think when I was younger, I always seeked perfection, to be honest with you. And I think as soon as you accept that things are never going to be perfect is the moment that you start sort of releasing yourself and being more free and playing with freedom. And I think that's maybe in the beginning, which I didn't do. I played safe, I done safe passes, but I think now when I've grown and I've just played with more freedom, I think I'm taking my game to the next level, and I still don't think I'm where I want to be. I still get so much to learn, even though I'm giving all this advice to the sort of younger, less experienced players, but I'm still learning. I'm still always going to be a sponge my whole career. I'm so open-minded to everything that everybody's got to say, so I'm learning off them and they're learning off me, which is nice. You want to be perfect. You're a football player, you don't want to make mistakes. You're at a club like Chelsea, mistakes can lead to goals and big moments, and I think I've learned over my career that I've made numerous mistakes that have led to goals, but you get more than you lose from things, and if you play with freedom and you're brave, then I think nothing can stop you, and you're always going to make mistakes, but as long as you make up for them, and as long as you try things, and especially what Sonia's really keen on making mistakes. She was like, I always want you to ask for the ball, I always want you to take risks, I always want you to play forward and play with freedom. So I think sort of her goals certainly match my ambitions.
Now a second opportunity for her to take this corner. Millie Brigger's ahead on it. Oh, and it goes in. And Ingle got the last touch. And Chelsea take the lead. Came from a corner, flicked onto Sophie Ingle.
Every year we go into the Champions League wanting to win it. I think a club like Chelsea demand that and want that standard. But on a personal level, I think we have to demand more. You know, we've got a new manager. We kind of don't know what to expect or where the ceiling is. But I think from the early stages, she's made it clear that she wants to bring the Champions League to this club, and you know we have to match that as players. You know, it's quite clear that how ambitious Sonia is, so we have to match that. I think we all want the Champions League, but only one team can win it, so it's the hardest thing to do in Europe, as we all know. So we're going to keep trying, we're going to keep fighting. I think, you know, the one thing about Chelsea is we're never going to give up. I would say the one thing I want to be remembered is how I am off the pitch and how I'm spoken about. In the dressing room, how much of a good teammate I was, because you know the fans can say one thing, like journalists can say another thing, but I think the greatest respect that you can get is from what your teammates say about you, and I always want to be remembered positively by my teammates for being a hard worker, somebody that gave absolutely everything to the badge, somebody that fought every single day and turned up to training every single day with a great mindset and attitude. And I think for me, they are all controllables. Like, you can't control if you win the Champions League or not, you can't control if you win leagues or not, but what you can control is how you turn up and how you react and behave as an individual, and I think that is something that I sort of pride myself on.